it's ironic really, but I started boxing and I never really took it serious until I went to the BENN-EUBANK fight at Old Trafford. I was 15 years of age, paid 75 quid for a ticket and was on the back row. It was, I couldn't see now. It was, but I always, the roar of the crowd, I thought, oh, this is what I want. This is what I want, and I used to see Nigel Benn so ferocious, so attacking, so, just, he had you on the edge of the seat with every attack, you know what I mean? And that's the reason why I knuckled down to boxing and started taking boxing seriously. And when you think now, all these years on, that you think the two sons, Conor and Chris Eubank Jr. are going to be fighting each other, it don't bear thinking about. The dads were the person that got me into boxing. Now the sons are fighting. And my son's fighting. Like I say, it makes you feel old. But... yeah, and there's, it's that catch weight, isn't it? Chris has got to come down a bit, Conor's got to move up a bit, and everybody's a little bit uncertain of how the result will go because of the weight situation. But, fair play, a lot of pressure on Campbell's shoulders, a lot of pressure on Conor's shoulders, a lot of pressure on Chris Eubank Jr.'s shoulders. But listen, they're there, aren't they? They're in an absolute mega fight. So, I mean, with having dads, what they've achieved, take a bow, boys. You've done yourselves very, very proud. To be under, I wouldn't say, well, maybe under the shadow a little bit, but to still be.
Do you think they're still
to still be where they are, and to be in a fight of this size? Well done.
Do you think they are? Because I'd argue that all three are out of their father's shadows. They've all made names for themselves. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think. Listen, they should be out of the father's shadows, all three, just for giving it a go. When you're in the hardest game of all, with Campbell having me as the dad, Chris having Chris as his dad, and Conor having Nigel as his dad, and they didn't need to. We worked hard so our kids didn't have to, but they still worked to give it a go in the hardest game of all. And it pisses me off when you see, granted, only the odd few, that'll turn around and go, oh, you're not as good as your dad, or you're not this, or you're not that, you're not that. I think they want their heads punching in, to be honest with you. How can you not, say, how can you not look back with the pressure that they're under, and not just stand back and just say, fair play to you, lads. Whether you make it or whether you don't, fair play to you. Because they've got it so tough, and it's a credit to where the level Conor and Chris have got to, and obviously they both want to go to that next level, which is the world title level, and good luck to them. And Campbell is a few bit of progress behind them two boys. But I think I speak for Conor, Chris, and Campbell. The majority of the support is very good, is very positive. It's a shame you're always going to get the odd few that'll have a little bit of a pop and a dig, and I just think, why? How can you have a pop and a dig? You should be getting a pat on the back. You should be saying fair play to him. But it's the world we live in. And good luck to all three of them. I think tell you what, I'll always pat Chris and Conor and Campbell on the back, whether they make it or whether they don't, because the pressure they're under, fair play to them.
I spoke to Conor at the press conference. It's now reported that Eubank Sr. will be in Eubank Jr.'s corners. That means Nigel and Chris Sr. will be both in both the corners. How interesting, how fun is that? Yeah.
So they're not having the usual trainers, fathers going to go in as well.
How fun's that going to be?
Yeah, show business, isn't it, this game these days, isn't it? You know what I mean? But listen, it must be tough. I think I'd find it hard to go in the corner with Campbell, but if Campbell wanted me to go in the corner, I'd be there for him. But as it happens, it's all worked out for the best. I manage him, and Matthew trains Campbell now. And to be honest with you, even though Nigel and Chris go, as long as they can cope with the nerves and everything and that, who knows them better than the fathers, or in Campbell's case, the family, who knows them better than me and Matthew. So it's so I think there's far more worse people you can have in your corner than Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank, isn't it? But I think no, I think it just listen, and if it sells a few more tickets and it makes it more exciting, the billing, which it obviously clearly will. That's the game we live in now.
You've bit different than both Eubank Senior and Nigel. You've kept well away, especially now. There were some times where you were present, only a little bit when Campbell started. Why did you take that route and stay away from it all?
No, I mean, I think I've always, I mean, me and Matthew always, we trained with Campbell. He trained at his amateur gym, and he used to come and do a little bit with me and a little bit with Matthew. And when it come that we decided that he was going to go pro. In fact, I remember having a conversation with Matthew in Tenerife ages ago. I said, listen, if he does go pro, he's a bit of a way off now, but if he does go pro, I said, I'd like you to go in the corner. I won't think of anyone better, to train him. And then when he did decided to go pro, that's what happened. Matthew trained him and I managed him, and it actually works brilliant. And we're a very, very close family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Matthew, whenever he needs to ask me anything, he'll pick up the phone. Rick, what do you think about this opponent? What do you think about that? What do you think about this? Campbell, likewise, you know what I mean? I might not be his trainer and I might manage him, but I mean, he knows I'm always there to pick his brains. Matthew as well, you know what I mean? And, it's all worked out, for the best. It's because I mean, I always, I said to Matthew years ago, I said I'd like you to train him, Matt. I couldn't think of anyone else better to have him train him. But then I started doing a little bit with him, and if Campbell had have said to me, "Would you do the training, Dad?" I'd have obviously, I'd have had to pull my socks up and go with it. I don't know how hard I'd have found it, because when I sit at ringside, I'm like a nervous wreck. So the fact that Matthew trains him now and I manage him, it was taken out of my hands, and it was all for the best, because I think deep down, a few years earlier, that's what I always wanted.